Well, that took a little bit longer than it really should have. Let's make sure we have sound. Stand by. Just making sure we're good. There seems to be a really bad delay. So I'm trying to figure out there's some sort of not lag, but there's something weird going on. So there we go. It's because YouTube is horrible. All right. Okay, so I know that it just kicked off like there was like a whole bunch of people logged in, and then it kicked everything off. I don't know what the heck happened. So bear with me for 1 second while I just turn the lights on. There is a really bad delay going on here. So, okay, for those of you guys tuning in, thank you once again. This is a Q&A session. Basically, it was something I was just doing impromptu, and I've had a lot of requests to do again and again and again. So that's what I'm doing. So you guys can ask anything school dance related, sound, lighting, video, whatever the case may be. Reason I started doing this because at every single show, I always have somebody, hey, can I pick your brain? And at the trade shows, yeah, during the show itself, great. After the show, no, I don't want to do anything DJ related at all after the convention's over. So it's just, usually myself, my wife, and a few friends hanging out. Don't want anything to do with DJing at that point. So I figure this is a really interesting way of being able to answer all those questions. So I already have some that have come in, and if you guys have any questions or whatnot, that little chat thing right there, I guess over there, yeah. Make sure you fill that out, put any questions, whatever the case may be. Mike, Anthony, thank you all for tuning in. Mike, yes, there is Punch and Pie, but not here. So you have to bring your own. I do have a Polar Pop and crispy M&Ms. And this is why I'm gaining weight. So they're really good, though. In case you guys haven't had crispy M&Ms, good. So I'm going to start with a couple of the basic questions that we had already. Jim, I will immediately just get rid of any political posts and ban you. Just not in the mood for it today. So thanks for that. All right, we're going to start with, hold on. Mike, I know you sent me a question and I can't find it. So if you can resend that to me on Facebook or wherever the heck it was, that would be great. And I would be happy to sell it. All right, let me pull them back up here. Man, I'm so well prepared for this show. Can you tell? All right, so real quick, Ronnie asks, I had a question. He had a question. He forgot it. He goes, oh, no, it wasn't Mike. It was Ronnie. Well, I know one of my questions is, do you usually use your 10-inch Yamahas for school dances? Do you think 10s are better than 12s? And the answer is, it all depends. So first of all, for my school dances, no, I don't use the 10s. I use the DSR 115s, or I'll use the EV ETX 15Ps. It's really user preference at that point as well. But I use the 15s because I cross over everything right around between 90 to 100 hertz. And then I have 18-inch subs, and those subs are crossed over the same way. So I get a nice, even amount of, or I get a nice coverage more than anything else. There's not a lot of overlap and there's no missing frequencies, which is pretty important for me. The reason I don't use 10s, mostly, again, it's the look. We want to make sure we come in, with big sound. Even though people don't pay attention to sound as much as, if you have a big light show and video screen. If you're coming in with 10-inch speakers, yeah, I think they're going to notice that. Now, if it was possible for me to take like my Yamaha DXR 10s and put 3 on each side, almost looking like a line array, I've actually thought about that, and I've thought about making brackets because those 10-inch DXRs can then be used for weddings or other events. If down, I'll have an entire side that's down. And you technically could if you space them out just right. That's too much complication. So I use the DSR 115s. Do I think 10s are better than 12s? Again, it really depends. You know, if I'm doing a smaller event, and I have used my 10s for school dances, just not all of them. So that's when I say I don't use them for school dances. It's not my primary go-to. But I've done, you know, sweet 16s. I've done big weddings. I don't use the 10s by themselves. I wouldn't use even 12s by themselves. I like using them with subs. And it's not about, oh, well, every song has to have bass pounding out of it. But it does make a difference, especially with my personal brand of having that, you know, club type atmosphere. And it's also the fact that I don't like how tripods look. I think tripods look hideous. That's why I had the Bose and HKs for a while. I don't like tripods. So it is nice to have the speaker on top of each sub. It looks really symmetrical. I use the DXR10s with the DXS12 subs. And I'm telling you, you have not heard the DXS12s. They do not sound like 12-inch subs. Those things pound. And coming as a car audio guy, I do kind of laugh when people say, oh, 12-inch subs don't hit that deep, or they're only 12s, because I have annihilated vehicles with 12-inch subs. You know, you're talking 150, 160 decibels. Yes, it's in a car, but that's only out of 212. So the size doesn't necessarily matter if it's done properly. And I want to say that the DXS is a bandpass, but it's not a one-node wonder bandpass. I was never really a fan of bandpass subs until I heard the Yamahas. I'm like, okay, these sound really good, really clean. So hopefully that helps out, Ronnie. If I missed anything, please let me know. But I know it's a vague answer. It really depends on what you're looking for. For weddings, I like the 10s. They're more compact. They're cleaner. If I need a monitor, it's nice and, you know, there. A 10 and 12 doesn't make a difference to me because I'm going to use a sub with either one. The DXR 15s, the DSR 15s, 115s, you definitely do not need subs if you didn't want to. I mean, I did a school dance, actually. It was the Warrior-thon, the fundraiser. And the Yorkville sub died. Big surprise. Screw you, Yorkville. I hope you guys are watching this. You all are horrible. But so anyways, the Yorkville sub died, so we just turned off the HPF, the high pass filter, and it was playing the whole frequency through the DSRs, and it sounded like there was a sub. I mean, those things hit. The DXRs do have a nice amount of bass, not as much as the DSR 115s, but I've done events with just those two, call it a day. Now, a couple of my DJs, Kelly, for example, you know, he's on the wedding side, though, but he likes using the DXRs without subs because he likes the portability of the system, and they do hit. They have a fair amount of bass for a 10-inch speaker. And I've done events a lot of times, like just a very simple company picnic or something like that, where I set up my 210s. I don't worry about anything else. Dan Carpenter asks, new hyping tips and suggestions. Well, that's not a question, so we're going to skip it. No, I'm just kidding. So as far as new hyping tips, suggestions, if you guys are not part of my Master School Dances video series, you really should be, because that's the best way to support all these videos that I make for free, is by buying the paid series. Duh. And watch the ads, too. But anyhow, one of the things that's been really, really important, you know, and I've stressed this before, but it's more important than ever now, is to really be up to date on what's important, especially, you know, with pop culture, not just for teens, but even for weddings. So if you are doing, let's say, you know, if you're dropping, like, for example, sound effects of memes and all that, you know, stay up to current. If you're using, you know, the slang or the current lingo, please do not say homies. I saw a video and the DJ's like, where are the homies at? I'm like, bruh, are you freaking serious right now? You have never sounded whiter in your life. Yeah, so make sure you guys stay up to date on the current slang. Make sure you know what the slang is. You know, we do this thing where we do like shout outs on Twitter and all that. Everybody does that. And this guy kept saying shout out to all my thoughts. That was when that word first became popular, what, 2013? He's like, shout out to all my thoughts. Shout out to all my thoughts. I'm like, I didn't know what that word was at that point because, I mean, it literally just surfaced right then and there. It seemed that's when it became popular. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm never going to bother with it. Well, thank God, because thought, in case you guys don't know, stands for that hoe over there. I'm like, whew, well, when he called those girls thoughts, probably the best idea not to play that. So again, just make sure you guys get on that. And it goes back to the same thing. You got to do what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable using, you know, today's stupid slang. However, if you say bae, I will personally come to your prom, take that microphone, and kill you with it. Do not say bae. Hey, who brought their bass tonight? No, you will kill yourself if you use that word. But again, if you're not comfortable using those words, you're going to come off as a complete dork talking to them like that, communicating that way. So just do what you're comfortable with. One of the things that I work with my DJs, and I've talked about this in Master School Dances as well, but I see it now more than ever. I see DJs that don't know how to post, you know, where you're doing the hyping, and if you do the countdown right before the bass drop, 3, 2, 1, jump, right as the bass drop. I've seen people like 3, 2, 1, and then another second, then the bass drops. You gotta have it just right. You really gotta work on really be able to do the right pose when you're hyping over an instrumental, and then right when the chorus kicks in, you shouldn't be talking over that chorus. It's awkward. You know, and we've all done it at some point. I've had a couple of times where I completely missed a pose because it was a remix, and whoever made the remix just doesn't understand basic music theory. And that leads me to the tip that I'm really wanted to push on when it comes to hyping and all that. It seems that every freaking rapper just decided to take what we know about music theory and throw it out the window. Is it freaking Panda, I think? The Panda. Where there's like 6 measures instead of like 8. I'm like, are you kidding me? So you have, you know, where the verse ends and then it gets really quiet. Panda. I want to say it's that part. It's like 6 freaking measures. I'm like, bro, are you freaking kidding me? First time I did it, I'm like, you know, music theory, 8 measures, good. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Nobody's paying attention. So really memorize the music on that. Have that loop button ready if you need to. I actually do it in cue points. So if I see a break in the song, I'll just loop it in measures of 4. When I'm done, 3, 2, 1, bam, and it goes right to the next part. I also use that a lot to skip over some boring parts of the song, or songs that were really big and people don't care maybe about the first or second verse. They just care about the featured artist, like in every freaking Future song. So hopefully that helps out. If I come up with other stuff, I will come up with that too. Remember, guys, this is all pretty much impromptu. I get these questions, but I don't really get a chance to sit down and write answers. That's why I like the questions popping up right there on the spot, so you guys know that I'm not BSing you. Ian, thank you for joining in. Jason, good seeing you. Jim, good seeing you as well. Fly Robin, yeah, you're right, dude. I am so over the whole pin. I mean, what happened? Look, I don't want to sound like one of those in my day, you know, music. But I mean, today's music is really bad. Even people today understand that today's music is really bad, and they still listen to it. All these people talking crap about Drake, listen to Drake. All the people talking trash about Future, listen to Future. It's horrible. I don't know what the hell happened. It's bad. So Brock Hayden asks, what made you want to be a DJ? Okay, funny story about that. When I was much younger, like 14, there was there's a church that they do all sorts of great community stuff, right? First United Methodist Church. That was actually one of the church that I grew up in. They did a lot of stuff for my family when we had some hard times. But anyways, they had this thing called the Belfry. And it was basically a teen nightclub. They opened the entire youth center up. There were pool tables. There was like a small movie theater. There was a computer lab. And there was a dance area. And they played a lot of non-secular music. I remember 504 Boys, Wobble Wobble. Listen, if you guys have been in the game for a while and you remember Wobble Wobble, that was a jam back in the day. But yeah, I mean, and it was interesting because side note, I asked my church about that. And they said, you know what? It brings people to church. It keeps them safe. So it was really cool. But anyways, the DJ there was just awful. He would DJ off mini disc and Walkman players. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, he would just sit there, and actually, he only had one mini disc player, but he had a suitcase. He'd open up the suitcase, and there were 2 Walkmans, and then he had his whole, you know, prime cuts, and then some bootleg CDs, and the D series. That's right, people, the Platinum series. And I was always kind of fascinated with it. I'm like, you know, you ever tried mixing? Apparently, that's not what you asked the DJ. But yeah, he didn't like that. And I told him one time, I was like, you know, I would love to give this a try one day. He goes, oh, you'll never be a DJ. Screw it, I'll say the company's name. It was Ace of Hearts. They don't exist anymore. They were the biggest teen and school dance company in Florida. Look what happened. So, yeah, that's pretty much what made me want to be a DJ. Somebody told me I couldn't do it, and I did it. I worked at the skating rink, and that's really where and a lot of us got our start at the skating rink. The whole thing that I remember was in middle school, the DJ was just awful. Things were really disorganized. And I was just kind of talking with the manager, asking her some questions about my skates. And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to be rude, but this guy's whack. Like, he's horrible. And, you know, she mentioned they're looking for people. I'm like, look, I can tell you right now, you can put me up there right now. I promise you I'll do better. And that's exactly what she did. So that's basically what's going on. That's why there's a lot of jumps and all that. I think we're okay now. I guess we'll keep the show going. What the hell is going on? Like, this is crap. I'm I give up. I don't even know what the hell's going on, but now it seems to be working. So let me scroll back, make sure I answered all the questions while I scroll up. Make sure I answered all your questions because there was like a million. Hey, I don't hear you. I don't see you. Then please comment below. Hurry, get those questions in there before I lose interest because this really started making me angry. Let's see. I think I did get everything in there, right? I think we did. All right, so if there's no more questions, then I guess this makes it the fast Q&A. It was like 4 questions and then an hour of dealing with no internet connection. And now we have a nice, solid internet connection. Look at this crap. Tech Geek said that he got a new flash drive. He was able to run 12 videos. Everything was fine, or everything ran, but then his graphics card and CPU were not very happy. I need to know your specs. How much RAM, operating system, give me the card that you have, and which processor that you have. And if it isn't an i5 or an i7, that's probably problem number 1. Let's see here. How are the new in-ears working? Oh, okay, hold on. We go. Now questions are coming in. All right. Yeah, no, I'm not telling you any stories between my wife and I. But let's just say the whole thing about, how we all work together. I have a very specific way of things have to be done. I'm a very big control freak. She has a way of she does things. Sometimes it doesn't go the way I want them to go. And I'm one of those people, if it's not my way, then I get really all frustrated and anxiety because I have a very specific vision. We'll just leave it at that. All right. Let's see. Any tips for split between modern and period for themed events? Oh, God, I hate that so much. I hate it when they're like, hey, this is going to be a 1950s prom. We want you to play some 1950s music. What? No. Great Gatsby is the biggest one. We get a lot of Great Gatsby requests. We just did a really cool one called Come Fly With Me. It was a whole airplane theme, and I wasn't a DJ. It was one of my other guys. I was so upset because it looked so good. The advisor did an incredible job with the, decorating. Hang on one second. There we go. Sorry, for some reason, I don't think anybody could hear me there. Anyhow, going back on that, so we do it during dinner when doing the students coming in, during the king and queen intro, maybe a slow song. Other than that, no. I'm not going to sit there and bore a bunch of high schoolers with 1950s music. Swing music will work with certain crowds if it's like a Great Gatsby event. But I tell my guys, guys, the theme can really kill a prom if they think, or a homecoming, if they think we're going to play that music. If we did a... let's say, we have one that they're doing a whole Grecian gardens thing, whole Greek theme. I'm not going to play Greek music for a 99% urban crowd. It just wouldn't make any sense. Excuse me. Okay, so Matt asks, how are the new in-ears working? And Ian asks, I don't want to spend $1 million on in-ears. I also don't want over-ears. What should I choose for good in-ears? So these are the ultimate. These are custom made. These are not cheap. These things are like, I want to say like $1,200 or whatever, but there's some really cool things about them, and I'm going to do a full review later on. But these are custom made. They're made specifically for my ear, and I'm actually going to pop it off here because, well, for the price, they better. The cables pop off, and the cable's fairly cheap to replace. So, man, it's also in there too. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I got it to pop off, and then it was actually this one that I needed to take out. There we go. You just got to wiggle it out. So anyways, there we go. That cable pops out, and it is really secure in there. But I want to show you, it's made specifically to fit in the ear. Now, this particular one, this is the 11 Pro. This is made for DJing, and I like this one even over the more expensive ones. I like the sound out of it because it's got your different armatures, your drivers. So I have a separate one for the sub and one for the highs. And if you look in there, and in my video, I'll actually show some really detailed photos. You can actually see the little tunnel. I got the clear ones because I like to see how everything works. So anyhow, we just pop this in, and here's how it works. I went to NAMM, or you can go to their office, or you can go to any ear doctor that has, the little scoping thing tool. And then they give you exactly, what you need done. They go in there, they scan your ear, they scan it deep in, and I'm making sure this is all popped in. And then once that's done, hold on. Oh, man, did I put it in backwards? I did. I'm an idiot. Anyways, once that's done, they give you, they send the file over to Ultimate Ears. Ultimate Ears then creates your mold. Now, one of the important things to know about these molds is you have two different options. You have one with their negative 26 decibels, the little cutoff piece, but I actually got them where they're drilled, and that only takes them down to negative 12, so I can hear a little bit of the ambient noise. When I'm DJing, I want to hear the ambient noise. But if I'm in an airplane and I want to plug it back in, they have little plugs to plug that hole. So I really like that, and pretty much if I put this on, I become deaf in this ear, which is wonderful. So we're going to go here. Just kind of slides right in. All right. If you guys look right there. Now, what's really neat about these over some of the other in-ears, some of the ones I've used, like this piece goes a little further in, and I feel like inside my head about as deep in before it hits your eardrum. And I hate that. I hate that so much. These don't. These also come with a little tool so you can clean your earwax out. I know that's disgusting, but you're going to get earwax in there. And it comes with this really nice little box that even has your name on it. Now, this one has my name on it. It won't have your name on it because they're not your ears. A couple of really nice things about this is I really hate when people ask, "Hey, can I use your headphones?" That's unsanitary. It's nasty. And I always tell people, hey, look, no, it's unsanitary. It's nasty. You're not touching them. And I get people who still mess with my headphones anyways. So here, this way, they're not going to try because they're not going to fit their ears. They're only going to made to fit your ears. So it's really, like, the only bad thing is, like, you know, if I'm at a show, I want to tell somebody, oh, my God, you got to hear these things. They sound amazing. And sure, I'd love to hear them. Well, they won't fit your ears. But that was the best thing out of NAMM that I loved, was getting a chance to hear these. I was never an in-ear person, and now I absolutely love them. They are really comfortable. So I really recommend the Ultimate Ears. But again, wait for my review. I promise you're going to learn so much. You're going to love that review. Kim Carlson says, I just bought the DXS 18-inch subs for my DSR 115. Sounds amazing. Thanks for the review on those. Not a question, but still awesome. I love the sound combo. Kim, I'm sure that you've played with different combinations, but put it on the deep mode and, put it on deep mode and then actually have your subs going into your tops, but do not hit the HPF on the tops because your subs have a crossover mode that affects the tops. So you can cross over, let's say like 100, and then it'll go directly to the tops. So I've actually done it at, I want to say 80. I think it's 120, 180. I cross it over at 80, and then I let it go up there. The HPF, I want to say, cuts it at 100. I cross it over at 80. Oh, the sound is absolutely incredible. Especially if you're doing like a large wedding or a bridal show and you really want to impress people with sound. Oh, it sounds so good. Gatsby theme with black lights. Yeah, I sell the black lights all the time because they have a lot of whites, a lot of golds, and black lights really make it pop. What do you feel, our DJ G-Boy asks, what do you feel works for subwoofers, 2 on each side of the DJ booth or 2 in front of the booth? Again, it depends. For school dances, I'll either couple them directly in the front. Remember when you couple them, you can get like a 3 decibel increase, but sometimes I'll couple them and put them in the corner facing the wall or against the wall. Against the wall, again, you don't have that reverb, so you do get a bit of additional, sound out of it, but in the corner, you get a lot more. And I want to say it was Servant Vega that did a paper on that, and they were saying it was like a theoretical 6 decibel increase, even like 7 or 8, just some phenomenal. So, whenever you get to a venue, play around with it. Sometimes we put them up against the wall, pointing straight out. Sometimes we couple them. We've had 4 subs, and this was by the recommendation of David from Yamaha, and he had the 4 Yamaha subs, and he separated them. I think it was like 20 feet apart each one, and he said the sound was phenomenal. So again, really play around with different options. So I know you hate the answer of it depends, but it really depends on the location too. If I'm in a room that's has a metal roof or something like that, I'm not going to couple the subs against the wall because all you're going to hear is brrr from the actual roof, or we're going to have, the false ceiling falling down too. Tech Geek, going back to the Media Master question. The server has an i7 3630. That's a good processor, 12 gigs of RAM. GTS 675 with 2 gigs of VRAM. There's your problem. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to... 675M as in mobile processor? Hold on. Let me pull up your card for a second because that doesn't sound right. Oh, this is a laptop. Okay. I thought this was like an actual processor. Or a processor. It's going to be an actual server. Yeah, there's your problem. Your 675, really not all that great. If you're running 12 sources at the same time, especially 1080, I would go with the 680. Can't do that on a laptop, but I'm saying I would have, if I'm building a computer, I'd go with a 680, 4 gigs of RAM. You're definitely not going to have enough to run 12 at 1080p. You're running off a Mushkin Ventura Ultra 40 or 240 gig for content. Advertised speeds are accurate. Yeah, the Mushkin is all right, but it's your video card that's going to kill you. Is it better to side couple or stack? I think it really depends on the sub more than anything else. I know with like the EV ETX series, I didn't notice the difference whether I stacked them or I actually coupled one on top of the other. With the Yorkvilles, it did matter. I personally don't like putting a sub on top of another sub if I can avoid it, just because I was worried about one sub vibrating off and injuring somebody. Let's see here. Again, guys, any questions, start putting them down below. Those of you that are tuning in, thank you very much for tuning in. If you guys are on Facebook, and I know we lost like 30 freaking viewers because of this, just so people know, hey, we're back in. You know, in Tech Geek, it's kind of weird because your laptop technically is better spec than my Mac, but my Mac is running, you know, I haven't done 12. I've done 8 videos with no issue. But OS X really treats video much better than Windows does. Without getting into a whole Mac versus PC debate, guys, I kid you not, OS X treats their hardware a lot better than Windows does. Subs, EDM style versus band style. Anthony, come on, you're a sound guy. Now, you know better than to ask me a vague question like that. What do you mean by EDM style versus band style? Because whenever I think of band style, I think of somebody that has never been to an audio school cranking their stuff all the way up, because you're not redlining if you're not headlining if you're not redlining. So give me a little bit of a better one of versus band style, and I'll be happy to answer that question for sure. Ian, I've strapped subs together as well, and it does look impressive. But if you only have 2, it's going to look stupid. Like, where do you put both of them? You know what I mean? If you want it to look like a sub wall and you got 4 of them, yeah, that's going to look great. And I've done that before. I've actually stacked 2 on each side. You know what? Screw it. Let me see if I can find a picture. Hang on. Let's see here. Stand by, stand by, stand by. I'm going to show you one of the first big setups that we did. Actually, it was the first big setup. Let's see. I don't remember where the heck it's at, but I know that it was part of my book. Which, by the way, if you guys have not read the Master School Dances book, you really should. It's a great book. I mean, that's what I've heard. Photos. Okay, here we go. This was our first big setup ever. Check, check, 1, 2, check. Hang on, I'm trying to make it so you guys can hear me. There we go. All right, so that was our first big setup ever. And if you can see, we have the 2 Yorkvilles, and we put one on top of the other. We strapped it. And actually, on top of that is the EF 500 sideways. Again, 90 by 60, so it did hit a good amount of people. And it sounded great as far as the coverage, the look. Now, if I had taken all 4 subs and stacked them together, that would have looked even more incredible. What we did, and this was before I ran things, but what we did, and I hated it, we had a DJ behind the screen. And yeah, that was stupid. I'm never doing that again. You know, it was an interesting concept. It was one of those club type concerts, but I could really feel the disconnect. So I recommend never doing that. But the setup did look really good. I mean, there were some advantages having a DJ behind. It did make the setup the center of attention, but yeah, never doing that again, just because I don't like the disconnect of not having a DJ there. Let's see here. Brett, what OS X are you using to broadcast live on YouTube? I'm using El Capitan. I'm using Wirecast Play, and I think that's where the issue is. I'm looking at right now, and there's several other people with Wirecast that are having problems. First time was my internet connection, and then I just completely dropped out, so I don't know what the heck happened. I have Ian Moore says I have 4 LiveX 18. I stack 2 on 2 depending on the room, or 4 left or right of the stage booth. That's very similar to the photo that I just showed. How do I encode my content for MediaMaster or QuickTime H.264? That's pretty much what I do it. But honestly, MediaMaster plays everything. So I have some files that I just rip off. I don't say rip off the internet, but like if one of my DJs gets some footage, you know, and they have it on their camera, I drag and drop that there. If my client creates a slideshow at the last second and thinks YouTube was a way to send it to me, I got to rip it off YouTube. It'll play that FLV format with no problem. I'm in M time. Yeah. Okay, so Anthony says EDM, what he calls DJ style subs, line the front, the subs in front of the stage. Band has the subs on either side. Now, for a live performance with just singers, not entirely sure what's better. So, unless they're like 20, 30 feet apart, it's always better to couple your subs. I mean, in general, it's always better to couple your subs. But if they're really far apart, then, it's good to keep them a little bit, to keep them coupled or whatever the case may be. Again, that part really depends. For me, though, like with my wedding system, I have my two DXS12s, and my coffin's about 3.5 feet wide, and literally I have maybe 5 feet between both the subs. Because the subs for me, in this case, I use them for two things. Obviously, I want heavy bass, but it's aesthetics, meaning that, I have the sub, then I have the pole with a speaker, no tripods. I don't like tripods. I know that I'm losing a lot of bass by doing it that way, but those suckers pound so hard, I got to keep the bass down anyways. So, not an issue for me. You got to understand that you are going to lose, depending, if you do it band style, for lack of better words, yeah, you're going to lose some of it if you don't have them spread that far apart. Nick Pagan asks, love the crooked moving head. Is that the new style? What moving head are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about this on the right-hand side. It's not crooked. It's just the angle of the photo. These were the Hulk 150s. And, you're talking over here to the left and to the right of the screen. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there. They were set up properly. Oh, I know what it was. We had a clamp where the actual truss was. So I had a go get quick rig, or not quick rig, at that point it was trigger clamps to be able to clamp in the little center parts. Well, the trigger clamps have a different clearance than normal clamps, and we didn't have enough trigger clamps to be able to do all of them. So yeah, we had one trigger clamp, one regular clamp. It's not the best thing, but it worked out. Let's see here. DJ G-Boy asks, I'm going to buy two ETX 18SPs, but I want to know, what do you think my ZLX speakers can keep up with them? I think if you put them on high pass mode, meaning cut out the bass, they should. And again, it all really depends. But those ZLX 12, the ZLX 12Ps, I mean, they can get really loud. But again, it all depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to do a high school gym, no. If you're doing a small, a smaller room, function hall, cafeteria, it could. I wouldn't do like 500 people with them. With the 12Ps, I would look at the ETX at that point. But I think you'll be fine. Try it out. Either way, you're gonna love those subs. And if they can't keep up with the subs, but they keep up with your crowd, then turn the subs down. At least you'll always have overhead, and that's better than not enough. How much dBs are you getting out of your ETX 18SPs? Preston, that is always, it depends. Depends on the room, depends on the music, depends on how I have to set up the subs. I haven't measured enough times to really give you a satisfactory answer, but I'll tell you that it's been enough. None of my clients have complained, and I do ask, hey, what did you think of the sound? What did you think of the bass? They love it, no problems. Preston, if you were not on Moby, I really wish you were there, because they had an all ETX system. It was so loud for the Red Food concert. Steve, the RC King, says hi. Hi, Steven. Okay, funny story. We could not stop laughing. We read this thing about a Starbucks person that, Starbucks never gets the names right. And this guy puts, hey, my name's Steven with a PH, Stephen. The idiot at Starbucks wrote Steven. Phteven. Steven. So that's been our, I can't even, oh man, I can't even do that without laughing. That's so great. Let's see. Let's scroll down here. I just re-encoded all my content to picture JPEG. Yeah, don't do picture JPEG. Just do QuickTime H.264. Let's see. Kim Carson, I use my DMX2. I want to try something else with a bit more options. Can you recommend something? CompuShow? I love CompuShow. I love it so much. I have so many videos. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, there's no DMX software out there, DMX control, with as many tutorials as CompuShow does. The thing about I love about CompuShow, it is very daunting at first because it's a blank slate, but you can tell it how you want it to work for you. And once you get past all that, which can be a pain if you're, starting from scratch, you can do whatever you want with it. There isn't much you can do with CompuShow. I love it. That is what I use for all my shows. And I have given up some big opportunities to use some big boards for CompuShow. I love it. And I think you will too. If you want something simple, but with options to be able to stack and all that, putting two scenes at the same time, look at the Airstream DMX. But if you really want the best DMX software with incredible remote options, everything else, go with CompuShow. Thanks for asking. Let's see. Stephen the RC King is a freaking idiot. And we are going to ban him. Everybody say bye-bye to Steven. He asks, did I lose my virginity? If so, when and how? Well, years ago when I met your mom, and you know the rest. And Steven, that is how you were born. So, we're going to say bye-bye, Steven. Bye. Idiot. Ronald says, sorry, I'm late. Okay, well, you're going to have to tune into the first part of the show where I answered your question, and then YouTube said, I'm not going to work, and then my internet service like, yeah, I'm not going to work either, and suddenly nothing's working. And then there was some swearing, some screaming back and forth, and suddenly the internet works again. Weird how that worked out. Let's see. Ian says, hi, Steven, nice to meet you. Are you always an ass, or did you get that from your mom? No, but everybody got Steven's mom's ass. Oh! Look, if you try to troll my show, you're going to get trolled right back. So, Steven, thanks for tuning in. We won't miss you. And just remember, you'll never be half the man your mother was. All right, let's continue on here. More about Steven. I should make a song about CompuShow. No, that's weird. Let's see. Brandon Gregory is letting us know that he is. Oh, look at that! He and Steven are fornicating with each other. That is disgusting. Using a pumpkin. Well, we're gonna block that. And again, that's Brandon Gregory. BrandonGregory. Brandon Gregory would like to let us know that he may be a gangster, but his mom tucks him in late at night. DJ G Boy asks, have you gotten a chance to demo the new SRX 815P? If so, what did you think about him? No, I have not. And you're not the first person that asks me about that. But no, I haven't. And maybe at some point I'll be able to hear him, but I have not. Preston asks, is it possible to run two scenes at the same time on my DMX? The answer is no. But let me fire up DMX. I'm going to show you a quick little tip in case you haven't seen this. And this is called HTP and LTP, which stands for highest takes priority, lowest or latest. Hey, there's a cat right behind me. Look at that. Look at that cat. He's so cool. But you guys wish you had a cool cat like that. But you don't. All right. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to load up my DMX so you guys can see what's going on. So hang on 1 second. New local desktop presenter. Window. Select window monitor. My DMX2. All right. There we go. 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 I'm like, wait, sorry. I was reading like all these things. I'm like, someone record us. There we go, 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 go. Sounds like he's saying Arrigo. What? Did something happen with the... My voice is on repeat? Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so apparently something happened and my voice was on repeat. Okay, did you guys hear anything at all when I was talking about the My DMX? Okay, so basically, you guys, for those of you that didn't see, somebody asked if you can run two scenes at the same time on My DMX. Man, today's show's just horrible. I basically was just showing, and I've done videos on this already, so make sure you guys check the My DMX tutorials on my YouTube playlist. But you can actually change your levels into HTTP, so you can change your colors, you can change your dimmer, all that live using a MIDI controller, easy remote, or your mouse and keyboard. Yeah, again, I have no idea what happened. So, Tech Geek asks... Wait, hold on, let me scroll back up here. Hang on one second. All right, Ian Moon says, if you had quit the show, we would not had so much fun with Steven's mom. Just saying. Well, I think we're all gonna have fun with Steven's mom. Chase asks, what's a way to get more volume out of your speakers without turning up the speakers anymore? You get louder speakers. I mean, that's really it. You can only turn things up so much. Nick. Did you say turn up the gain? No, stop it. Once you're past the sweet spot, that's 0, no. You're clipping, that's bad. If your speaker's not loud enough, well, then you get better speakers or louder speakers. It could also be that your mixer sucks. If it's a Behringer, it's probably that. No, in all seriousness, if your mixer doesn't have a lot of headroom, you could be sending a clip signal. So it doesn't sound like it's very loud, and you could crank it up louder, but your mixer is already clipping. So every time you turn it louder, all it does is send a distorted signal to your speakers, and your speakers and magic smoke. Let's see here. So yeah, Chase, if you let me know what kind of speakers you have, what kind of mixer, then we can all kind of help you out here. Let's see. Ian asked, maybe try a compressor, better manage the overall sound. Yeah, that's why I want to wait to see what he says that he has. Then it was the whole remix of There We Go, 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 Go. So I have no idea what happened, but I really can't wait to hear that. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what happened, guys, to be honest with you. Sorry, mine, I was buffering and catch what OS X and encoder you were using. I use El Capitan, and I'm using Wirecast Play with the default encoding settings, and usually it works. Today is not that day. No, that's not why you... Okay, Anthony, I swear to God, dude, I got a number of love for you. But if you ever say line array again, I'm going to fly up to Canada. I'm going to take a point source speaker. I'm going to stuff you in that point source speaker. And no one's ever going to hear from you again. Let's go over why line arrays are a bad idea for school dances, shall we? Okay, so let me see if I can draw here. Oh, I can't bloody draw. We're going to do this the ghetto way. Hold on a second. Your average gym has 20-foot tall ceilings. Okay? So, let's say here's your trussing. And here's the crowd. Okay? There's your trussing and there's your crowd. Now, let's say your trussing is only about 12 feet up. So, if your trussing is 12 feet up, and let's say you're using a Meyer line array. Let's say you came up with, $100,000 for a basic Meyer line array. Okay? You're basically, I'm going to try to draw this a little bit better here. Let's say you do maybe 2 or 3 cabinets. Okay? There it is right there. You're sending sound out here. That's freaking great. You're sending sound to the back of the gym, but your crowd's here. So how are you going to do that? Well, now you got to add more, so you actually hit this part here. Okay, so now you're going to spend, what, $150,000, $200,000. Again, a Meyer line array? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. Okay, but you're not going to fly your, if you're going to fly, let's say, from the 20-foot tall ceiling, because if you're flying it from 12 feet up in the air, that's a waste. Okay, you don't want to do that. That's ridiculous to fly on a line array that low. So then you're talking, let's say you hang it from the actual rafters of the gym. All right, so now you're going to need one that goes much bigger line array. For 500 to 1,000 kids. That's the most ridiculous thing ever. So no line arrays for school dances. At least not a Meyer line array. No constant curvatures. Point source speakers really work best. They're going to give you the best bang for the buck. Now, will line arrays give you better sound? Absolutely. But You know what? Actually, I'm kind of glad we went over this because I did have a school that they spent thousands on a line or for the DJ to bring out a line array, almost no lights at all. And when we went over the stuff, and I went over the students, they're like, well, we wanted pipe and drape, we wanted this, but we didn't have the budget. I'm like, you guys had, several $1,000s. I'm like, where did it go to? And they're like, well, we had this and this. I'm like, okay, well, see, you see this line array system? This is great. And I explained to them in a nutshell what this does. I'm like, but ultimately what you're doing is, because this is, let me draw out the area for you, okay? This is the gym area. The students don't dance there. They actually dance in the hallway where all the classrooms are. It's almost set up like a giant food court, right? And then there's a stage area here. So basically, the Atlanta race that would pound way in the back with sound. But all the students were here. So I asked them, like, okay, guys, so you had a sound system. When I looked at it and we spec'd it out, and I asked them, was it loud here? Yeah. Was it loud here? Yeah. Was it loud way in the back? Yes, it was. Okay, so sound was even all the way through. Yes. Okay, well, that's what line arrays are good for. They push sound to the back of the room. Did you want sound in the back of the room? The teacher's like, no, we couldn't hear photo booth. Well, we couldn't hear registration. We couldn't hear anything. Like, okay, well, that's why you do point source speakers, because you want your sound to die right around here, right, guys? And they're like, well, yeah, okay. So don't do a line array. We're going to do point source speakers. Suddenly they had the budget for the pipe and drape and the other stuff that they wanted. So, yeah, I don't want line arrays for school dances. However, the Yamaha, I think it's called the M8, tiny little line array, runs off one of their amps. Oh, it's the most beautiful sounding thing ever. My wife and I were at Infocom listening to the Yamaha line arrays, and they were so good. Right, Monica? What? The Yamaha line arrays. Yeah. Oh, they sounded good. That sounded really, really good. Let's see here. Ian says, hey, the new Behringer X series is good. I have two XR12s. They work very nice. And they probably do. I've heard good things about the new Behringer stuff now that they own Midas. I don't know how much Midas is in the new Behringers, but hey, every company can turn around. I don't doubt that at all. But I want to see consistency before I say anything. Speaking of Behringer, any thoughts on the Behringer Air digital mixer? If you guys are not familiar with it, it's basically a mixer and you control it with your iPad. Our QSC had something similar. The Behringer one, yeah, it's a pretty neat concept. I haven't used it enough really to give you an opinion. I've heard it. It didn't sound bad. But I haven't used it enough to really form a good opinion. Anthony says, that's why you buy an IR line array. Oh, we already covered that part. Sorry. Where are we at? Sorry. There we go. DJ G-Boy, have you ever heard of the Pioneer DJ SX clipping speakers early? Holy crap. Every flipping Pioneer controller clips early. I don't know what the heck it is with it. And I don't know. And if you're Pioneer, sorry. Got nothing but love for you. Pioneer car audio is my go-to every time. But their controllers, I always have to put an external mixer to it. My DJs always clip nonstop on that. Like, even if you're hearing on the headphones, I'm like, there's not a lot of headroom. I don't know if maybe it's some issue with Serato or whatnot. I'm actually going to try a virtual DJ and see what happens. But yeah, so if you have something like that, I recommend something like the Yamaha AG06 because you can actually hook it up to your computer and works as a second sound card. So it's a really nice backup if, God forbid, anything happens. Or even the MG06 or the AG03. I have a small portable mixer. And this isn't just Pioneer. Any mixer or DJ mixer that I have, it always goes out to another small mixer. So I have extra mic inputs. I have a built-in compressor, reverb, whatever that, the heck I need right then and there. It's just nice to have those little effects. Let's see here. Anthony, you're making a bad joke. Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's why I was kidding back with you. Come on, settle down, guys. Settle down. Chase says, I'm running two Alto Pro 18s with two Yamaha DXR 15s out of a Pioneer DDJ SR. Okay, so I know that you have very loud speakers because I own the DXR 15s. The Altos are definitely going to clip a little bit earlier than, well, I'll be honest with you. Altos are not going to keep up with the Yamaha DXR 15s. They're not. Those things are really, really loud. Chase, on your DXRs, what are you running them? Are you running with HPF, the high-pass filter? I'm sorry, that's the DXR, not DSR. So there should be a crossover. What are you crossing these over at? Let me know, and then we can go from there. Let's see. Ian says, I love my X-Air mixers. Love. Again, I haven't used it enough to be able to give an opinion. Oh my God, we're still talking about the joke and the line arrays. I'm going to kill all of you guys. Let's see. Why would you bring in a 150K Meyer line array for 500 people when that rig could easily be rented out for $3,000 a week? See, that right there is the reason I would never do line arrays. Here, and I always thought it was maybe just Florida being cheap. They don't seem to go for very high on rentals. I can rent a really nice line array for about $1,500. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. That's a really expensive line array. I can rent it for $1,500. There's not a lot of ROI. Pipe and drape, now that's where it's at. But I can rent regular point source speakers for a heck of a lot more. More money for a lesser investment than line arrays. Also, I don't get Meyer. I mean, yeah, they sound great, but for the money, I think there's much better out there for the money. That's just my opinion. I was never really impressed with the Meyer sound compared to some of the other stuff. I mean, it's Meyer, and it's like, whoo, it's Meyer. But, we're DJs. It's a name for us at that point. Let's see here. Kim says, I know it's hard to say, but I can try. I want to have a max number of people recommendation on my website for the Yamaha speakers, DSR-15s, DXS-18. With 300 people, less or more? Oh, way more. Okay, so I actually fly my Yamahas, and I know some people are going to be like, ooh, that's not right, Arnoldo, but you can come to one of my shows and I'll prove you wrong. I fly my Yamahas. I fly about 12 feet up. I tilt them down a little bit, and I can, literally pound 600 to 700 people with just two DSR 115s. Now, subs, of course, they stay on the floor. We do quite a bit of bottom end, but yeah, trust me, two DSR 115s, two DXS 18s, easily going to hit more than 300. That's way overkill for 300 people even, as far as the tops go. The subs, they're great subs. The more subs, the better. But, yeah, easily 300 people with no problem. Let's see here. Nick Pagan says, Arnoldo's complaining about the industry standard Pioneer mixer. Yeah, you know why? Because who the heck made an industry standard? I hate this whole industry standard thing. Okay, like Serato. Ain't the industry standard? No, it's not. It's just a bunch of DJs in the U.S. that really like Serato. They got on their jock, and they made it. Look, before Serato was Serato, we had Final Scratch. Final Scratch was crap, which later turns out to be pretty much the same type of developers as Tractor. Why are you filming? Okay. So anyway, so we have, we had that. And now, because Serato was the first one in the U.S., really mass market or that, everybody thinks it's the industry standard. But you go anywhere in the world, it's Tractor. If you compare apples to oranges, Tractor has better tracking. There's no, that's not even a factor or an opinion. That's a fact. Go look at a YouTube video and you'll easily find that there. I'll be honest with you, I use Virtual DJ 8, and I think it tracks just as good as Serato. There, I said it. Get over it. So, yes, I will bash on industry standards because I understand why they're industry standards. The Pioneer mixers, there's a lot of great ones out there, but their controllers need a lot of work, in my opinion, when it comes to the output. I don't like the output. I love what they can do. My DJs have them, and they're great. Don't like the output. Personal opinion. Let's see here. Are you using Serato Scratch Live or Serato DJ with El Capitan? My Serato guys, I don't use Serato. So my Serato guys, what are you doing? You're like up in my face with that thing. My Serato guys I don't think they're using El Capitan yet. And I really hate the whole Serato thing. Well, it's a USB incompatibility. That's crap. It's not a USB incompatibility. And in my opinion, it's that whether it's Serato or Tractor, whoever the case may be, somebody's developers were a little too lazy to download the freaking SDK and develop around it. Because guess what? Virtual DJ works. Guess what? Legacy software works just fine. Suddenly your stuff doesn't work because of a US compatibility. See, I don't buy that because with Apple, you don't have a choice in sound card drivers. You have to use the QuickTime format. You have to go through Apple and their little close ecosystem. And they're still working, or they're still using that same thing. So I never quite got that. That being said, I have no idea if it works with El Capitan or not. But that bugs me when people keep saying, oh, it's Apple. No, it's not Apple. You just didn't develop fast enough. Get to it. Let's go, people. Developers. All right. Chase says, I'm crossing the DXRs over at 80 hertz through the subs. There's your problem, Chase. Do it at 100. Same thing with the subs. Do them at 100, and you should definitely see a much better one. Also, on your, I know there's like a monitor and other setting. Just leave it flat. Okay, so 100 hertz, run it flat. Tell me how that works out for you. You know how to find me via email, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Send me a photo of your mixer settings so I can see your gain settings and everything else, and I'll try to help out as best as I can. Chief Keith asks where I'm from. I live in Winter Haven, Florida, originally born in San Jose, Costa Rica. Anthony asks, there is a side to Meyer that you don't know about. Let's just say most who own it pay 60% than what MAP is. Yeah, that's pretty much with everything in the industry. Still hasn't changed my opinion. There's other ones I've heard that I like better for the money. And yeah, Anthony, please let it go. I don't want to block you, but it's about to happen. I'll tell you what, when you buy a pair of Myers, then you can ask all the questions. Until then, all right, so am I against Donald Trump? Oh my God, are we really going to ask the Donald Trump questions? Look, I'm just going to say this as a Hispanic. If you move to the U.S., learn English. I did. Not that difficult. Yes, English actually a very difficult language to learn, but not that difficult to freaking learn English in today's day and age, all right? Seriously, guys, that's just pure laziness. Learn English. And U.S., make the immigration process a little bit easier. It's ridiculous. And if you've never been an immigrant, you have no right to speak on it, because I can tell you right now, it is a pain in the ass to immigrate here nowadays. They just don't make it easy. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Let's see here. Where did I get them headphones? These are the V-Moda M100s. Freaking love these things. I bought them from the V-Moda website. I just don't have these customized. My Crossfade LPs are customized. Chief Keith asked a couple good questions. It's all good. I'm not worried about it yet. Let's see here. Brett says, great show and info, Arnoldo. Well, thank you for watching. And I also agree with you about the non-industry standard Pioneer crap. And again, I have nothing against Pioneer. I'm a huge Pioneer fan. When it came to car audio, the industry standard was Alpine, E-Clear. Oh, God, E-Clear. I haven't said it in a while. I mean, there are a lot of really good head units. The radio, for those of you not in the know, right? Pioneer, I've always loved Pioneer. I love the sound. The Pioneer Premier speaker sounded great back in the day. There wasn't, you would not get a better, flatter sound for the money, and flat is good, people, don't forget. You would not get a better, flatter sound for the money than Pioneer speakers, and I still believe that to this day. I got 2 Pioneer 6x9s in my car. You would swear there's a sub there. Now, granted, there's a sub in my van now, but before, I mean, those things pound it. Pioneer, please go back to doing car audio as your primary thing. We miss you. Us, in the MECP world, really miss you guys. Let's see. What is your average power draw on amps from mid to large rig? 320 amps. Okay, Anthony, that is a great question. I just actually did a show, and I talked about this in the last one. I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned all the lights that we were using. Crap load of lights. And all of them took like 10 amps total. The 2 Lecos sucked up more power than the entire rest of the light show that flooded 20,000 square feet did. It was mind-blowing. Sound... I still don't understand it because, I really wish I had one with me. I have like the DSR 115, right? And you guys know how loud those things are if you use them. And then you look at the power draw and it says 100 watts. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. It's like an 1100 watt speaker. And again, wattage is just a measure of power. Okay, I get that. But you're talking a speaker that is rated at 1100 watts, I think like 1500 peak, something like that. But 1100 RMS, even 900 RMS. And it's a 100 watt power draw. Wait, what? And yeah, I get it. Magic things happen to the capacitors, Class D, Class X, but it's still really mind-blowing. Same thing with the subs. You look at the ETX 18 SPs, the DXS 18s. Those things barely take up 100 watts each. It's like, damn. It's, again, mind-blowing. Chief Keith, we've had a lot of trolls. They probably thought you were a troll as well because of the Donald Trump question, but it's all good, man. No worries. Ask questions. That's what it's all about. Let's see here. Kenwood. Oh, did you not just mention Kenwood? Ian, get the hell out of here. Kenwood. Okay. Kenwood. If you guys ever been to Circuit City, have you tried these new Kenwood speakers? No, this is why you're out of business, Circuit City. Because you had the Infinity Perfect 12s. If you guys know anything about car audio, you should have salivated the moment I said Infinity Perfect 12s. I got 2 in my car right now, which I got a Recone one because the rubber surround came off. But those things were amazing. Anyways, yeah. So, you are MECP cert and you're going to say Kenwood? Get out. All right, so anyways, let's see here. Let's go back down. Chief Keith says, I talk a lot. No worries, man. Ask questions. It's all good. And you're a new subscriber. Well, thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Anthony asks, Vans. Damn, back at it again with the white Vans. What do you think about the Transit Vans replacing the E-Series? I'm really pissed off at Ford. If you guys have been driving the Ford Vans for a while, you know that the best engine the Ford has ever made is the straight 6. You can argue this with me all you want, but until you tell me another engine that hits 500,000 miles with no issue, Other than the Dodge Slant 6, the Street 6 was incredible. The E-Series was easy to work on. They were rugged. I actually had one that I bought from up north. I didn't know it was up north until I looked under Florida. It was all rusted out. I mean, this thing just ran. You could piss in the engine, it would still work. I don't know about the new Transit, but I do know that, and I honestly do believe that car manufacturers are making their cars crappier and crappier to force you to buy a new car or new parts every couple of years. You know, that my van, other than when the fact that somebody didn't get an oil change on it, anyways, the whole engine blew up. Well, not blew up, but it pretty much threw a rod. It's like, poop, hello from the other side. You know, I have never had to do any repair on it. Hell, it was running on the original serpentine belt, water pump, everything for 250,000 miles. You tell me another engine that will run on original parts that long. Let's see here. Ian Moon. I was MECP cert many years ago. Yeah, man, those were the times. Preston asks, how many QSC K12s and ETX 18SPs can you safely run on one circuit? You know, it's not what you can run on one circuit, it's what it'll tolerate. Not the circuit, but the speaker. So let's say you have two of the ETX 18 subs on one circuit. Okay, I know two of them will run with no problem. But then let's say you put a hazer on it. And the hazer and all that, let's say it's right at 17 amps. So you're going to be fine. But depending on how the ground is, and I've had this experience before. I had one that it was on a really crappy ground or whatever it was hooked up. Excuse me a second, sorry. I was on really crappy ground. So every time the subs hit, the lights dimmed. Literally like a car audio problem. Well, it was also the other way around. Once that hazer kicked on, the subs suddenly were getting lesser voltage and they weren't hitting as hard. I'm like, what the heck happened to my subs? I turn off the hazer, they hit up again. I don't like doing more than two subs on one circuit, and I've often done the tops and my DJ system, computers, all that kind of stuff, the auxiliary type stuff, on another circuit and the lights on something else. So, I mean, it's not about overloading the circuits. Keep things separate. Definitely makes it a little bit nicer in the long run. Chase says, so the 18s only have 80 hertz or so. If I cross the DXRs over a 100, then there would be a gap in the sound. Then what? No, that can't be right. You said you have the DXS 18s? Hang on one second. Let me scroll back up here, Chase. Yeah, you said... Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Oh, you're running the Alto Pro 18s. Well, I don't want to say get better subs, but Alto Pro 18. What does the back of the Alto Pro look like? Let's find out here, people. Okay, there we go. Alto, view image. Yeah, that's not really showing me much of anything. Seriously, who the heck took these photos? I don't know what to tell you at that point, because you're running, you know, if you cross over your DXR at 80 hertz, it's going to do a lot more work, so you're not going to be able to crank it up as loud. That's really what it comes down to. Let's see here. Cerberus Knights ask, ELS Go, Series 15 or 8? So I have the 8-inch. I love the portability of the 8-inch, but if you're going to be doing like outside venues where you need a lot more volume, or there's going to be a lot of people, either you're going to need to get 2 or 3 8s or a couple of the 15s. If you want more bass, more rounded out sound, you definitely want the 15s. The 8s just don't have any bass because it's an 8-inch speaker. But I do love the portability of it. So as the girl from the little taco commercial says, why not both? Ian says, circuit shitty. Ha! See what you did there. DJ G-Boy, how do you think the new Denon MXC 8000 will stack up against the controllers now? I don't know. It was there at NAMM. Didn't even get a chance to touch it. So I have no idea. But Denon never disappoints. So it should be interesting, despite the fact that it looks just like another controller. So, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Fly Robin says, Kenwood hasn't made crap since the 80s. No, Kenwood's still making stuff. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Sierra asks, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck... Oh, hold on. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could possibly chuck wood? Why did you throw possibly in there? Look, I'm not Google, but let's find out. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Right? Hold on. Answer to how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? A wildlife biologist once measured the inside volume of a typical woodchuck burrow and estimated that if wood could have filled the hole instead of dirt, the industrious animal would have chucked about 700 pounds worth. In other words, a woodchuck would chuck as much as a woodchuck could chuck wood if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So, again, if you didn't hear, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, a woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. All right? Did we get all that? Great. That was a great question. Thanks for asking that. I'm so glad I'm y'all's personal Siri. All right. What is the circuit? Questions about electricity or phone? Stupid question, I guess. What is the circuit? Questions about the electricity or phones? Chief Keef, could you kind of rephrase that question? I didn't understand it, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. Brenda Granola asks, what do you think of the JBL Eon 615, and what subs do you recommend to use with them? I haven't used the Eon 615, so I really couldn't even tell you much about them. The last Eons I used were the original Eons, and I used them as floor monitors. You know, again, depending on what you can cross them over at, depending on the event that you're doing, if you're doing, you know, if you would need like an all-around good sub, you know, the ETX 18 subs are amazing from EV. The Yamaha DXS or the DXS, like the 12 to 15, 18, those things are amazing. My vote goes to either of those two subs. It really doesn't matter as long as it's not Yorkville, because you know what, Yorkville, I've had it up to here with your crap. Hope you're watching. Let's see. Chase says, I did a wedding ceremony with 175 people and one ELS Go 8. And honestly, wedding ceremonies are, you know, are a lot quieter than a traditional event. So, you can have good success with that. Crank it up high, tilt it down a little bit. I like to have two just for coverage for a group that large, but that's just personal choice. Ian says, why don't they make a Bluetooth rack mount broadcaster so we can hit multiple Bluetooth speakers at once? Let's say 4 or 6. I think it's because of the way Bluetooth works. I know that, Monoprice has a 2-channel Bluetooth broadcaster that will broadcast to, you know, stereo out to 2 different Bluetooth channels. But basically, a broadcaster have to have different Bluetooth channels all at once. And I think that's going to get really messy really fast. Do I think it's okay to mix bandpass and folder horn subs? It's not a dumb question at all. I had to do it last week because I had Yorkville subs that failed. 4 of them in one shot. And not because I drove them, because they're made like pure crap. That's my opinion, so they don't try to go after me illegally, but at this point, screw them. So the only thing I had left are the 2 EV18 subs, and then I had 2 Yamahas. Ran them all. Not the best idea, but it sounded pretty good. Let's see here. Chief Keef says, I can't understand what most of the questions are about. So I'm guessing that you are pretty new for this, or you're pretty new to this, which is fine. No worries. Chief Keef, I would really, really recommend maybe... what would be the best place to start out? There's so many good resources. I mean, you know, the most common sense is God, I really wish I had that paper from Servant Vega. It talks about how sound works and everything else. Oh, Bosch Electro Voice has this thing called the Sound Bible. You guys know what I'm talking about? It basically told you about the principles of sound, and it got really technical really fast, but it's a pretty good read. There's lots of YouTube tutorials. Just search, you know, how speakers work, how sound works. Ohm's Law. That'll really help you understand, you know, what it is when we're talking about 20 amps and you can only put so much, and wattage and how that translates, you know, volts, watts into amps and so forth. So I would definitely just start out with just some basic YouTube videos. Chief Keef, if you're a DJ, you may want to join a group such as DJ Open Discussion on Facebook and ask questions there. Don't worry if you think your questions sound dumb, because you're asking questions, you're wanting to learn, and that's the important part. We don't like people that don't know anything, pretend they do, and then they start offering their services, catch something on fire, people die, and now everybody thinks DJs are a bunch of idiots. Anthony says, EV, much, much better than JBL. Yeah, I gotta agree. However, JBL was a monster in the car audio world. They used to have these really, really, really thin subs. Ian, do you remember which ones I'm talking about? And Alma Gates. Okay, this older woman who had a freaking ridiculous van. She was sponsored by JBL. And the last one that I remember that I was there to see, it was in Nopi. I was like 16 or 17. She freaking hit like 171. I'm not talking 171 seconds of bass, okay? No. I'm not talking 171 people that died. No, I'm saying 171 decibels. Okay, for those of you that don't know, car audio gets really, really, really loud and really, really potent. Okay, we're talking, like my Cadillac, I was running 350 amp alternator. Let me repeat that again. 350 amp alternator. Alma Gates was running way more than that. I think she had like, God, this has been years. I want to say it was like 7 or 8 of the Ohio alternators. There wasn't even an engine at that point. You couldn't drive this van. It was like 7 or 8 alternators sticking out of the hood. This thing was ridiculous. Man, it pounded like a beast. You could not sit inside your car because your eyeballs were just, okay? I'm not kidding. 171 decibels in a car. Let's see here. My wife is probably singing about sticky buns or something. I don't know. Anthony says, Yorkville is trash. Unfortunately, they're literally standard up here in Canada. What did I tell you about standards? Move on. However, Anthony, you are real close to Minnesota. Guess what's in Minnesota? Electro Voice. So, you could just do that. All right, let's see here. Monoprice is my favorite website to get cables. Shh, I like Monoprice too. I won't get DMX or audio cable, or I get some audio cables, but I won't get DMX cables. But VGAs, hell yes. HDMIs, hell yes. They may only last me a year, but you know what? They're gonna get destroyed anyway, so I can just chuck them out. It's a $9 cable. Who the heck cares? Chief Key says, anyways, I got to go. Thanks a lot for responding. Take care, sir. Great new video, fan. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you tuning in, Chief Keith. Much appreciate it. And as far as some of the brands we talked about, like Yorkville, that's Dutch. I don't like. What is my opinion on American Audio subs? Really? Really? No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you this about American Audio. They have really stepped up their game. The last couple of years, they've been putting out some really good quality products. The ELS Go, definitely not like the ELS. I wasn't a fan of the original ELS, but the ELS Go, really reliable. The CPX sound incredible. And they have these new CPX subs I haven't actually had a chance to really fully play with, but I heard it Moby, NAM, and they had a good sound to them. But the CPXs sound great for the money. If you guys have not heard of CPXs, give them a try. I know some of you guys may be biased against American Audio because they've done, a lot more affordable stuff, but the new stuff sounds great. And the VMS 5.0, which is sitting right next to me, I've been playing with the VMS 5.0. Actually did a live mix on it, and it sounded good. I was really happy with it. Let's see here. Let's continue on. Oh, yes. Ronald, yes, for Chief Keith, if you're still on, look up Ben Stowe's Pro Academy series. Guys, if you don't know Ben Stowe, he is the coolest guy in the world, and you'll love him. And if you don't love Ben Stowe, kill yourself. All right, let's see here. But yeah, the new American Audio subs, honestly, for the money, it's great. And again, American Audio, part of the ADJ group of companies, they'll always have parts. They always have great service. So no hate on that. However, we'll be very honest with the new stuff that American Audio has been putting out, like the CPXs. They're not going for high-powered speakers. They're going for something that sounds good and is affordable. So you can only get two out of the three things. You can either get good, cheap, or loud. Okay, you only get two out of those three. There ain't no trifecta. So if you want cheap, then you either give up good sounding or loud. You can have loud and you can have it cheap, but it's gonna sound bad. You can have it where it's cheap, it's loud, or excuse me, you can have it where it's cheap and it sounds good, like the CPXs, but they're not, gonna be insanely loud. I'm not gonna fill a high school gym with them. However, my CPX-10 works as a monitor, and it does keep up as a monitor for my Audio Technicas. Now, not anymore because I've got my Ultimate Ear, so I don't use a monitor as much, but I still will have that so I can hear a little bit of the ambient sound coming in. Let's see here. Ian gave some great resources to Chief Keith. Main thing to understand is the comments are delayed about a minute from the video. Yes. Also look up Disc Jockey News. Oh, I definitely got to give a shout out to Disc Jockey News because they're the ones that are helping fund some of these videos too. So I really appreciate everything they do. Ian says 171 decibels. Damn right. Yeah, a member 326987 says Yamaha sound reinforcement, old school Bible, great for basics. You're absolutely right. And you know what? I'm gonna ask the Yamaha guys, see if there's a re-up of that. That would be awesome. Anthony says, hey, I own EV. I'm saying the Guitar Center equivalent in Canada owns Yorkville, and that's where entire rental inventory is. Well, it looks like somebody needs to get up there and say, listen, check these speakers out. What do I think of the specs for the PreSonus ULT-18? Let me look that up. I haven't checked the PreSonus ULT. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I'm very disappointed with PreSonus. No, oh, yeah, PreSonus, their new series, they'll look exactly like the ETX 18 SPs. I mean, yes, all speakers after a while look the same. But I'm just saying, if you were to compare the PreSonus against the ETXs, don't they look a little similar? Yeah, Bosch isn't very happy about that, by the way. Shout out to Mike Dussault for calling him out on that crap. And not just publicly on Facebook, directly to the guys on Facebook. Look, you can't copy the world's I think they're like the world's largest privately owned company. Bosch ain't nothing to mess around with. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You're copying Bosch's design. It's a patented design. They own so many patents. PreSonus, what are you doing? Which is a shame because I like a lot of PreSonus products. Anyways, to answer your question, no, I haven't heard it yet, but it's definitely not going to sound like the speaker that they copied. Let's see here. What do I think of turbo sound? God, I haven't used turbo sound in a long time. You know, back in the day, they did sound really good. Now, I'm not saying they don't sound good now, but I think for the money, and I think there's other stuff that I do like better, I'm still a big fan of the Yamaha and EV combinations. Opinion on best DJ speakers for the beginner, $500 range. Nick, we got three of them. We have the American Audio CPX line. We have the EV ZLX, and you've got your Yamaha DBR series. Check out those three. I've done reviews on all three of them. They're awesome, awesome speakers. Blends Gone Wild says, ADJ Icon IR legit for a monogram fixture or just good for the fact you can print out the gobo? Don't print out gobos. We're just going to get right past that. I'm going to do a rant on that later on. But blends, I use the Icon exclusively. I've done a shootout against the Icon and the Source 4 Junior, the new Icon profile and the Source 4 Junior and the PR1. I use the Icon wherever possible. Love the hell out of that fixture. If you're not familiar with my channel, please make sure to subscribe, Blends, and also search my review on the Icon. But yes, it is 100% a legit gobo fixture. I love it. You'll love it. It's lightweight. It's portable. It's remote control. What more could you want? Fly Robin says, what do you use to protect your ears? I don't. You know what I do? I actually set my speakers in front of me, and I just blare everybody else out. That's really what I do. When I fly my speakers, I try to fly them so they don't hit me, or I put myself strategically so I'm in a dead zone. Now, again, we have the ultimate ears and ear monitors. Now, make sure, again, you guys subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a very thorough review on those really soon. If you're looking for a good earplug, IDJ Now is doing a sale on some earplugs that don't actually plug the sound, but lower the sound. V-Moda also has some as well. They're like 25 bucks, some dirt cheap, and those are really comfortable and they sound good. Ian asks, best beginner DJ speakers, Optimus or bang for the buck? Haven't heard them, so I really couldn't tell you. Let's see here. DJ G-Boy says, I noticed the specs, they're very close. Only difference, I noticed that PreSonus puts their RMS and EV doesn't. That's because with EV, it's their RMS. Honestly, I don't see a legit company ever really posting peak as the primary one. Some of them do because that's what DJs expect. If you're marketing to DJs, DJs look for peak, God knows why, and then they look for RMS. EV doesn't because they're not selling the DJs. We're kind of the afterthought originally, and then they realize, oh, look, DJs are buying better and better quality gear. So now they made, like the ETX series for the higher-end DJ, the ZLX for the beginner DJs. But EV, their specs are not only measured, not calculated, measured, they actually measure them, but they are RMS. And even RMS, which is your median, it's still not always 100% median. Doesn't matter which manufacturer you're talking about. But again, wattage doesn't matter. It's your average sound output, your sound sensitivity. That's what you want to really look at. Ian says, I try to print a gobos. Followed every YouTube video. Bought an $800 laser printer. Always look like crap. Look, for $800, you could have just spent like $1,000 more and just bought a laser engraver and cut your own gobos. That's all I'm saying. Glenn says, subscribe to you for years, my dude. Thanks for the advice. Shout outs for the San Francisco Bay Area. Again, thank you very much for subscribing. Ian, Optimus, wow, from Radio Shack. Right over my head, dude. Wow, I completely missed that. That's awesome. All right, so, listen, my wife is cooking, and it smells amazing. So, what are you making? Let's find out. That's my question. What are you making?
Food.
She's making food. My wife is the biggest freaking smart ass I've ever met in my life. No, you're not making sticky buttons. You guys have to excuse my wife. She's been on a meth binge lately, so now she's just singing songs about baked goods covered in cinnamon and glaze. So,
I'm making a 3-cheese chicken pasta penne.
Okay, 3-cheese chicken pasta penne. Listen, once that's done, I'm clicking the disconnect button. I don't care if one of y'all's like, yo, I got money to give you. No, I'm disconnecting. No, but in all seriousness, I am getting ready to end it. So if you guys have any questions, let's do a quick fire round. Have I heard the EAW 730s? No. Haven't. I know people that use them. They love them, swear by them. I personally have not. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for putting up with all the YouTube crap. Now hopefully I can get that fixed, and we'll see how well that works out. I know, it sounds delicious, doesn't it? I'm thinking we should just host a convention at my house, and then part of your $300 ticket, because I'm going to charge, if I do a convention, it's going to be minimum $300, and that's just to go outside and look at my chickens. It's actually going to be closer to $500 to $600 a ticket a day. It's going to be a 3-day thing, but there'll be some of whatever she's cooking. It smells really good. So yes, the Arnoldo Offerman DJ Expo will be coming soon. But in all seriousness, thank you guys so much. Please make sure to subscribe, share, like, share with your friends. Have a good night. God bless. Stupid YouTube. Stupid YouTube. Because it doesn't work. And now won't let me stop streaming. I'm clicking the stop streaming button. It's like, no, not going to stop streaming. Nah. Oh, Kim, thank you for tuning in from Sweden. Wait. Oh, hold up. Swedish viewer. So, Kim, you got the hookup on some chocolate, right? Because I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't nothing as good as Swiss chocolate. German chocolate, Swiss chocolate, Kinder Egg. I would freaking murder for a Kinder Egg. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have the hookup on a Swiss chocolate? Because everybody's like, ooh, Swiss Army knives, Swedish masseurs. No. Swiss chocolate, okay? Toblerone, that's my jam right there. Toblerone. And the Swiss Viscount, no, but in all seriousness, I love Swiss chocolate. So anyhow, guys, thank you all so much. Kim, you need to talk to me if you have the hookup on some Swiss chocolate, because I will add you to my UPS account, and we're just gonna ship some chocolate over. But now, my wife. Why? Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.